Hi everyone, welcome to another video brought to you by Skeins on Main. Today we're going to be talking about German short rows. We've talked about basic wrap and turn short rows before. German short rows are a relatively new thing, probably about 10 years now or so. That's relatively new in the knitting world. It's just another way of doing a short row. It's a little cleaner sometimes. You can interchange this with wrap and turn for the most part. Once in a while it doesn't work quite the same, but for the most part you're good. So we're going to start just by knitting a few stitches in. I'm just going to go most of the way across the row here so I can show you how to do both a knit side short row and also a purl side short row. And then how to close up those gaps, because you know that's the most important part of a short row. You don't want to leave a gap there, otherwise it doesn't do you any good to do the short row. Okay, so you're going to knit to wherever your pattern tells you to. In my case, I'm just knitting to 6 stitches from the end of the row. I turn my work so that the purl side is facing me. Slip my stitch purlwise. And now this is where the fun comes in. I'm going to bring my yarn up and over to the back. So if you saw that, I took 1 stitch and turned it into 2 just by pulling it. Let's look again. You slip 1 stitch purlwise from the left needle to the right. So you insert your right needle like you're purling. Bring your yarn up and over to the back and watch that stitch magically become 2. Now I'm going to bring my yarn around to the front again and purl back. The biggest part of this is just make sure you keep your tension when you're doing that. You want it nice and tight. The tighter the better on this. Okay. So this next part I've seen done a couple different ways. This time I'm stopping 5 stitches from the end. As I said, I've seen this done a couple different ways. I'm going to show you the way I prefer. It works out the same way as the other. So for this one, you've got the knit side facing you, and you're going to slip 1 stitch from the left to the right knitwise. Okay? Bring it over knitwise, and then bring your yarn up and over. Again, see, there's my 2 stitches there. And around to the back. And then start knitting. Once again, make sure you keep it nice and tight. Now we're going to knit across to where we have the last short row we did, and I'll show you how to close that up. Oh, there it is right there. Do you see that? It looks like a little bit of a mess. So I knit 1 more stitch there, and now I'm to my little mess, and all I do is knit that together. So just put your needle right into the middle of the goop. You should have 2 strands over your right needle when you do it. Knit those together and then continue on your row. Look at that, nice and clean, right? Okay, I'm going to knit to the end of my row. And now I'm going to turn it and purl back to where my goop is on this side. Do you like that technical term, goop? It's the double stitch that's created by the German short row, and it's referred to in patterns as a DS or double stitch generally. But let's be honest, when you run across it in your pattern, you're not going to realize it's a double stitch. It's going to look like a mess. So goop might help you remember a little bit better. And there it is. Okay, so 1 more stitch. And there's my goop. So it looks like I have a yarn over there. So for this one, I'm not going to just purl them together. I'm going to purl them together through the back loop. So that means I'm coming around to the front of my work, and I'm going left to right, like so, through those 2 stitches. Bring my right needle back to the front to purl, and then purl them together from that position. That's going to give me a nice clean short row. As I said, there is another way to do this. It is not incorrect. This is just the way I like. I think it's a little bit easier, but it's totally up to you. So let's just take a quick look from the front of the work. One of our short rows was right here. And you can see just a little tiny flaw in the work there, not a big deal. And then the other one was right here. And again, just a little tiny bit. It is not a big deal. No matter what kind of short row you use, you're going to get a little something something on the front of your work. So you can't be too picky. Frankly, I think this one leaves a really nice finish. That'll do it for German short rows. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, don't forget to like us and subscribe to our channel. You'll be helping us, and also you'll find out when we put out new videos. Everybody have a great day and happy knitting.